For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise. And you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble. It is back to school time, everybody, and back to work time. And so we today are, I'm the host of the show. You're only going to hear me. Today I'm going to be talking about office politics because I know a couple of people who will work very hard at their job, do the overtime, whatever, throughout the year, and then come summer, will quit, right? Because now I've got all this savings and whatever, and I can enjoy summer and do it. And then in September, we'll then take another job again. So I always kind of laugh. I've got one friend, she does this pretty much every year. Sometimes she'll take a leave or, for 2 months, whatever it is, and then go back. But I always say to her, when you start a new job, and there's nothing wrong with starting a new job. I realize that after the pandemic and people lost their jobs and had to start over and get a new job, that's absolutely understandable and respectable, right? I like to have fun with that because anytime that I've started a new job, yes, it's exciting. Yes, it's, nervous. Yes, it's whatever. But you'll notice a pattern in what happens and how things play out. And I'm going to explain it throughout the course of the show. I mean, you might be sitting there going, what are you talking about? You don't worry, we'll get to it, okay? And just my thoughts on office life in general. I mean, if you've watched shows like, The Office or any sitcom that's taken place in an office, you see those dynamics, those relationships, those ups and downs, there's drama, there's, whatever. And we're going to talk about all that today on the show. The workplace politics of it all. And that's coming up on the Scribble right after this.
This statement has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. No offense, but are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secret to losing 3 to 5 pounds a week without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt RX. For the last 2 decades, we've helped countless people lose thousands of pounds. And now, it's your turn. Learn how to lose weight with one simple phone call and no prescription needed. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a risk-free money-back guarantee. So, if you're ready to start losing weight, call right now and get a free month supply with your first order of Body Sculpt RX. Call now. You have nothing to lose but the pounds. 800-459-6838. 800-459-6838. 800-459-6838. That's 800-459-6838.
JB here on The Scribble. All right, we're talking workplace politics. Now, it all starts with the job interview. Now, I remember back in the day when I was in school, remember, things have changed now, and there's this sense of entitlement nowadays that people have, especially the younger generation. But when I was growing up, we were told, make your resume stand out. Show that you volunteer. Show that you do positive things in the community. Show that you do this and that you're a good person. Show that you're dedicated. Show that you're loyal. Show that you're kind, that you've got a heart, whatever. And then, of course, make your resume stand out. So that could have meant use a different font for your name at the top. Put it on different colored paper, right? These were things that you had to do when you were applying for a job, whether that was by mail, whether you were dropping it off in person. I guess you were faxing things back in the day. So you really didn't have a control over, color of paper or whatever at the time. But you had to do something to stand out. And the whole process was you, the job seeker, doing the song and dance to impress the employer. My, how times have changed now because, especially in this day where we've got this labor shortage and, whatever it's being called, where employers are having to throw themselves at the workforce and go, work for us. We're a good company. We have flexible schedules. We let you work from home. We do this with that. That would never have been the case back in the day. Now, my aunt worked for human resources at Sears. Now, she retired before the company went under, so I'm not saying that's why she stopped working there. But I remember having conversations with her when I was just starting to apply for jobs and things. I was in broadcasting. I wasn't applying at Sears. Or I was in journalism school. I wasn't applying at Sears. But she would sort of give me tips and go, well, there's this, that. Remember to say this when you go to the interview, because when you're sitting there being interviewed, you are so desperate for them to like you, right? That's the whole thing now. And so I was doing that, right? I'm trying to bring the sense of humor, and I would kind of, if there were 2 or 3 people interviewing me, I would kind of get in with one of them and then just sort of reference them throughout, right? See, you know what I'm talking about, and kind of bond with them. Whoever I felt was sort of like more in charge or was the decision maker, because you don't really know that necessarily when you go. Maybe it's the person who sort of takes the lead at the beginning and kind of does the introductions, but I mean, you just don't know. And so that was always something that I would do in job interviews. I'm going to bring my personality. I'm not, and I never, ever, ever did wear a tie and like really dress up like that, because I always felt that's not who I am. So I'm going to come in here and meet you dressed like this and have my hair. I don't use hair product, so I'm not going to come in and have hair product and do all this other stuff, because on day one, when I start the job, I'm going to look completely different anyway. So I always felt that just wasn't genuine. That wasn't me. That's not how I'm not coming in here Monday morning dressed like that. I'm never coming in here ever wearing a tie and whatever. I don't care what the job is. That's just not me. That's not how I'm comfortable. Deal with it. You're hiring me for what I do, whether that's writing, whether that's my personality, whether that's my customer service skills, whatever it was. That's why you've hired me, is because I have the skills, the ability, the charm, whatever it is that you're needing me to do. That's why you hired me. I'm not saying that I'm coming in dressed like a schlump and having, ripped pants and holes in my shoes and things like that. That's not what I mean. But I'm not setting this expectation of, oh, you're getting a suit and tie kind of a guy. Because what ends up happening, and you've seen this, when somebody new comes into the workplace, they dress up nicely those first 2 or 3 days, or maybe that first week, and then come the second week, they're dressing just like the rest of you. They're not keeping up that shit. They're not doing it. They're not. It's just not. You're doing it because you're making that first impression. And I think about that too. I've, almost every workplace that I've left, I still am in touch with somebody. And I'm talking about from the time I worked at Red Lobster when I was 17 years old, to the time that I worked at Party City, to the time that I worked at Bentley and selling luggage, to the time I worked at Bootlegger, to the time I did all those, retail jobs when I was in my early 20s. And then when I was doing corporate writing and when I was working in marketing departments, I'm still in touch with people. And that was something that I've always liked it when there's somebody new starting, because now again, I was a communications major in school, so I pick up on those things. I look at that and go, oh, well, she's really dressed up today. Oh, okay. Oh, he's super polite. Oh, he's super nice. And then you realize that just cut the crap. And by week 2, they're just one of the others, they're one of the team and whatever it is. And so, yeah, so for that interview, I've never super dressed up, and I'm going to wear... there was a time where I even wore a zip-up hoodie, almost sort of like a la Mark Zuckerberg before he was, somebody. And that's just how it was. So if you didn't like me, and I think that that's the thing, is that my personality was just so strong and engaging and entertaining. Not that I'm, I'm not being cocky. I'm just saying I distracted you with that. So you might have judged me by, the way I looked or the way I, came into the room. But 10 minutes into the conversation, that I've got this energy, this personality, this zip to, whatever. And that's that. You're hiring me because of what I do and what I am, not because I'm a writer. Who gives a fuck how I'm dressed? That doesn't even that's irrelevant when you're a writer. And then, they're going to say, well, The Office has a professional look and whatever. I'm not facing the general public as a writer. Sure, if I was working, the counter of a fast food restaurant or the sales floor of a store, totally different. But that's me wearing a uniform and having a name tag. That's just not the kind of job that's for me. I'm not knocking those jobs. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it. That people love working at Starbucks. That's great. I mean, if you love your job, that's wonderful. But it's just not for me. And so as a writer in my profession, same thing with a radio show. If I were to work at a radio station and they told me, well, you can't wear jeans, you can't wear whatever, I'm literally in a box where nobody can see me. What does that even matter? And here's another thing, and this is where I would say, I'm not going to hit my stride if you're going to have me dressed all buttoned up corporate-y. I'm not going to feel comfortable. So you're not going to get the relaxed, laid back, casual me. As it is right now, I'm sitting here and I don't have any shoes on. I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt and whatever. I mean, that's just, so yeah, any of those workplaces where it's like, well, at the corporate office, you've got to wear, dress, it's business casual. I'm the fucking writer. I'm going to be locked away in an office somewhere, or I'm going to be like, that's where I've never, so that's why I've always felt, sort of the office, the workplace. And when I was at a publishing company years ago, before, that was sort of kind of the last real team that I really fit in with, aside from starting my own company where I cherry-picked most of the people from the publishing company and everybody came with me. But that was the structure. Was our boss, who's now our company accountant, she just said, like, I don't care how you get the job done. We were doing trade magazines for different clients and associations, and she's like, as long as they're not calling me and like screaming at me and pulling their contracts or whatever, I don't care how you guys get these magazines done. I don't care if you take a 2-hour lunch and come back drunk and then you've ended up, working all night or you work all weekend or whatever it is. Get the fucking magazine done. That's what I'm paying you for. I'm not going to breathe down your neck. If there's a problem, you're going to come and tell me. If there's a problem, the client will come and tell me. But I don't want to hear from the client first because I trust you guys. And that just worked because it gave us this freedom. It allowed us to. So yeah, on a Friday afternoon, we would take literally a 2-hour lunch. We'd go to the mall, whatever it was. We would call the boss and say, hey, we're going to stop at the liquor store. Do you want any wine? What kind of wine do you want? We're going to bring back wine. And we would sit in my office and drink. And that was such a positive workplace for us where we then felt appreciated. She trusted us to do the job. And there we go. And things were good, right? And so that's how our workplace at my company is. If you are this snowflake, if you are offended by swearing, if you're offended, and it's so weird because that's where an HR professional or a human rights person would go and say, well, you can't be like that in your workplace. Here's the deal. We can be because we all accept it. We've all subscribed to it. And it's fine for us. And here's the deal. I might hire you, and you might not fit in because you don't have the same off-the-wall sense of humor, you're not go with the flow. Then go. It's not the right workplace for you. Just as I couldn't go into one of those places where they've got scooters where the staff is zipping around and playing games and ping pong and arcade games and whatever. That's not my kind of work environment. That's for the college frat kids who need that distraction to be engaged with their job. I don't need that. We don't need that at our place. We've got producers who are putting together radio segments, podcast segments, syndicated radio content, books, newspaper columns. We have, an underwear and swimwear company. We've got a coffee line. We've got all this shit. And people know their job and they do it. And if we make inappropriate jokes, so be it. So be it. And guess what? People have worked here for 15 years, 17 years. I've known some of these people. We don't have anybody who's just come in off the street in the past few months because we're going to likely hire somebody who's older. And it's funny when you hear about people who are in their, late 30s, 40s and go, oh, well, nobody's going to hire me. I'm too old. You know what? Come to us. Come to us. If you've got this, upbeat sense of humor, you can take jokes, you can take, and I mean, I'll use the term sexual harassment because you'll understand what I mean by saying that. Because Bonnie, our executive producer, will walk behind me and slap my ass or poke me in the side or whatever it is. That would be considered sexual harassment in many workplaces. But you know what? That's just the way it is. And that's just how it works for us. We're fine with it. We're cool with it. Nobody's uptight. Nobody's running and snitching and going and posting, my boss just did this. Fuck off then. Don't work here. And you don't have to. We'll get somebody who likes to have fun. Fun is described as so many different things, though, right? Like I just talked about that ping pong and beer on tap and free lunch every day. I don't need that crap. That's not or when they go and say we've got the team retreats and we're all going to go to, a cabin for a weekend or we're going to go to Mexico. I've never wanted to do crap like that. I don't a team building exercise or all these different, that doesn't work. I'm here to write and that's it. I'm not here to have friends across the company and, engage at lunchtime. And I don't need to be fed. I don't have to come here and I have food in my house. I realize that it's nice that workplaces are doing that and they're catering to their employees because the employees need that to feel engaged and part of the team and whatever. I don't need that kind of crap. So I'm going to talk in the next segment about that first day on the job. And I think I know that you're going to relate to this and you're going to have a laugh. Maybe you've kind of felt it and experienced it, but you've never sort of vocalized it or had a conversation with somebody about it. I'm going to outline that first day, and it's probably something you've experienced in an office job when you've started a new career or a new move. All right, I'm back on the Scribble right after this.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer. Save the money, save the hassles, and get the better blue pill. Dial 800-578-0179. That's 800-578-0179. 800-578-0179.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
This statement has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt, your shoulder hurts, and your back. Oh my God, your back. They're constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore, am I right? Well, here is something you haven't tried. Pain Absolve. Pain Absolve is not available in any drugstore. The only way to get it is by calling today. We're so confident that it will work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase, no prescription needed, and best of all, each purchase comes with a money-back guarantee. Call now to find out how you can get Pain Absolve and get rid of your pain. Call 800-319-0582. That's 800-319-0582. 800-319-0582. Call today, 800-319-0582.
JB here on the Scribble, talking office politics. So I briefly touched on that first day on the job, right? You're going to come in, you're going to show up early because it's the first day, right? You're probably going to get there before the actual person who's going to be taking you around. If it's not an HR person, it's going to be your manager, whatever it is. Maybe you showed up before them. Sometimes they're there prepping ahead of time or whatever. But I would do that. I would show up 30 minutes before the start time and then basically have to sit there at the reception desk or wherever it is, wait for the person to come in. They're going to come and get you. They're going to ask you, if you wanted to get a coffee or you wanted to, did you want to get some, here's where the fridge is to put your lunch, here's all this other crap. You're going to do the fake hello because everybody's already been emailed that you're starting today. And maybe you're nervous, maybe you're excited, whatever it is. And so, like I said earlier in the show, I have a friend who, starts a new job kind of regularly. And I was sort of making fun of her. She texted me one morning, wish me luck, first day on the job. And I just unloaded my jokes and my sarcasm on her because I said, well, here's the deal. You're going to have everybody who's going to give you the fake smile. Oh, hi, nice to meet you. Yeah, welcome. And then the smile is gone as soon as you walk away. And then they'll do it again when they, see you again. They'll come by for the first few hours. Oh, how's it going? Yeah, is everything good? Everything's good today? All right, good. How's it going? They don't give a shit. They don't care. And then often what happens is maybe you're teamed up with one of your coworkers, right? So you have to go and you're going to shadow them. You're going to sit with so-and-so and watch how it goes. And you're going to watch what they do, which has absolutely nothing to do with your role. But for some reason, it's just time filler for that day. Maybe you work with them on, a project or whatever, but what they're actually doing has no relation to your job whatsoever. But you wanted to figure out what Susan does or what Jason does or whatever, right? So you sit with them. And you got that half hour. You're going to ask them the same questions. You're going to ask them, oh, how long have you been here? Oh, yeah. So do you like it? Yeah. Oh, okay. That's good. Yeah. What did you do before this? Oh, okay, cool. And they'll ask you the exact same thing because now they feel obligated to get to know you because you're the new person. Oh, so where were you before? Oh, you were at such and such? Oh, okay, yeah, that's cool. How did you like it there? Oh, okay, yeah. How long were you there? Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, okay, cool. And once you're comfortable, right? Because you might get sat with that employee who just kind of has that grudge, who just feels like they're overworked and they'll give you the real lowdown. They'll tell you who's the real asshole, who's the real dick. They'll give you that because they don't give a shit. And that was the person I always kind of was like, I'm gonna hang out with them. I'm gonna like them because they were just real right from the beginning. I realize that it's probably not the best attitude for them to have, obviously, right? A little bit different there, but I've always sort of connected with those people. I'm like, here's the person who's gonna shoot the breeze, who's gonna shoot the shit, who's gonna tell me the real deal. Okay, I respect that. And I've always found that, just like I said, when people are watching you for that first week and how you dress and whatever, I look at that and go, okay, when do I see the real personality? And that happened at a workplace before, right? Where you're told that this person's kind of the assistant to the manager. But then as soon as the manager leaves the room or goes to a meeting or whatever, she's trash talking the guy and she's saying all this stuff. So on the surface, right at the very beginning, that first day or those first few days, you're not necessarily subjected to the realness of the team dynamic or the politics, again, dare I say that word. But then as the days go on, that's where it comes out more and more and more, right? Now then you're going to have that first day where they take you out to lunch. Oh, sorry, you're going to have the orientation. Sorry, I jumped ahead. You're going to have the orientation. I totally forgot that. They're going to maybe show you the videos. They're going to have the handouts for you. They're going to go over the policies. You're going to feel your phone vibrating in your pocket, but you don't want to whip it out because this is orientation. I've got to focus on the job for a good hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. And you're dying to see what you're missing on your phone because it's not kosher to have your phone out on the table the first day, is it? And that would be something that I would absolutely judge you on if I were the boss and it was your first day. No, you're focused on doing this job. You can take your little 15-minute break, whatever it is you're going to do, play with your phone there. Right now, I need your attention here. And if your attention is on your phone within the first hour, you're out of here, you're gone, you're done. Your loyalty is to your phone and your social life and your family. And think about it. I grew up without a cell phone attached to me. I don't have kids, but I grew up, I didn't, people couldn't get a hold of me until I got home from work or whatever it was. And you know what? I survived. Those people could wait. They were fine. So yes, I'm the kind of employer, if I go and say, if it's your first day and your phone is out on your desk within the first 20 minutes and I see you looking at it, you're done. You are done. Maybe that's me being an asshole. Maybe that's me being an old curmudgeon. Maybe that's whatever. At the end of the day, I'm paying you. You are focused on my job. And I think I've told this story on the show before. When I was starting my company and I was working from home and it was just me and my computer in my home office and I hired some student dudes, and this was before kind of Facebook was a big deal. When I come into the living room where he's got my laptop, his feet up on my couch, which was fine. I said to do that, get comfortable. This is what your job is. And when I come into the room and you are texting your girlfriend or whatever it was, you're done. You're done. Because as an entrepreneur, and this is why I felt I'm paying you $10 an hour. Like I said, we're going back at least, to almost 15 years. I'm paying you $10 an hour. As an entrepreneur, that is a lot of money for me to be giving you if you're not pulling in money for me from day one. Right? Now, he was going to be doing sales. He was going to be selling radio ads. He was going to be doing all this other stuff. But for me, who didn't have money coming in, I think I got $3,000 from my bank. That was the extent of it. And it was really just a kind of a credit card. I got $3,000 credit limit. And that's what I was given. I'm having to support myself and pay an employee. So if you're not bringing in money, and I'm not expecting that, okay, you're going to start pulling in sales in the first 10 minutes. I get that. But have some respect for me, who in that first day, I'm paying you $80, under the table, tax-free, whatever, I'm giving you $80 of my... It's not even my hard-earned money. It's not even my money at that point. And so that, to me, I took that personally. And I just said, you're done. You're out of here. Or I'll give you the one warning, maybe. That's, I'll level with you. Here's the deal, buddy. You're taking my money. This isn't Amazon where I've got billions and billions to throw around. You're in my home. This is, $80 is a lot of money for you and it's a lot of money for me. And if I'm going to be paying you this over the course of the week, so now that's going to be $80 a day for the next 5 days, think about how much I've given you. That's hundreds of dollars that I could be using to pay my mortgage, feeding myself, feeding my dogs, whatever it is. And so I think some of the guys kind of put into practice, but now, really, think about this. How many people on their first day on the job, their phone is plopped on their desk literally right as soon as they sit down? I, at least back in the day when I would have an office job, I would maybe give it a few hours, maybe late that afternoon, my phone would make an appearance. Or you have the people who are going to be genuinely discreet about it and sneak off to the bathroom. You're going to do that in your first day of orientation, right? You're going to make several bathroom trips that morning because you're going to, want to check your phone and see what's happening or tell people how it's going and whatever. But that for me was kind of like, yeah, no, if your priority is your phone, you're done. It's not going to work out. And even as it is now, when we have meetings here, your phones are not coming into the meeting. Your phone is irrelevant in this. If you've got a work laptop or something, then fine, because we might need to look up something on the computer, whatever it is, but your phone is not. Your phones aren't for work purposes at this company. But I don't expect people to be glued to their phone. Now if you've got a work phone, because we do entertainment headlines and there could be a breaking news story, whatever, well, that's completely different. But if you're the graphic designer and you're not doing anything in the evening, then I'm not expecting you to have your phone, why, you don't have to check your work email on weekends. That's just not, no. But again, like I said, there are circumstances where you might need, if we're doing something, you might need to do it. But yeah, your phone is not, no, it's not an extension of you. It's, I got kids in school. I was in school too. And, and I realize that it's different now because kids are being shot up in school and things like that. But it's just not an excuse anymore. And this is where you'd go, well, you're not a parent, you wouldn't understand. No, but I'm an employer and it's my money and I get where my money is being spent. That's why you get break time. That's why you get breaks. I worked at a place where the woman who was showing me around the first day, the assistant, whoever, she would be texting her kids all day, her teenage kids. And I would just kind of sit there and go, ooh, first of all, that's a little bit close. That's a very, very close relationship. But she's keeping tabs on them. She's making sure they got on the bus. I'm just thinking, I wouldn't want it like that. Why am I? Ugh, Mom, just let me be a teenager. Just trust that I got on the bus and that I didn't. So if I missed the bus, then I'll tell you or whatever it is. It was just so. Anyway. But yeah, so you're going to have that first day where you're going to do the orientation. You're going to sneak away to go look at your phone because that's more interesting anyway. You're going to then shadow the people. You're going to maybe sit with them. They're going to take you out for lunch. So they might either ask you where you want to go. They might have a place picked out. A couple of the teammates are going to come with you, or maybe it's a couple of the bosses. You're going to have more of that fake chatter, which was, they're going to feign interest in your life. Oh, so yeah, you mentioned you had a dog. Oh, okay. What kind of dog? And then they'll tell you about their dog, and then you're going to bond, and that's going to be that team building right there. You're going to maybe take that extra long lunch because it's the first day and, that's going to show that we're really flexible here. So we're going to take maybe an hour and 10 minutes for lunch instead of the hour, or 45 minutes instead of 30 because, it's your first day, right? Yeah, because we're loosey-goosey here. That's how we roll, yeah. And then you're going to come back, and then you're going to be refreshed and you're going to be like, hey, that's really cool. This company is generous. They bought me lunch today. Then you get thrown into the rat race again and you're going to see. Now you're going to have those people that you're shadowing, who are all that I'm just so busy. I'm just slammed. I've got so much to do. I'm really busy right now. So I'm working on this. I'm checking my phone every 5 minutes, but I'm super busy. And I worked with a graphic designer who was like that. He always was getting pulled in so many different directions, and I've got to do this, and so-and-so wants this and that. I just got no time. I can't, there's not enough hours in the day. I can't do it all. I can't do it all. But we see you editing pictures of your dog on your computer. Oh, we see you texting, and that's not really part of the job, but okay, you're overworked and you have so much on the go. We really feel sorry for you, Mr. Graphic Designer, who's got all this stuff and people waiting on this, whatever. Then maybe have kind of work stuff on your work computer. Or maybe don't have your phone that you're glancing over and looking at every 5 seconds. That's just kind of my thought. But what do I know? I'm just the new guy here. And so that's something that I've always found funny too. There's always that one person who's just always so busy. I just have so much to do. And the reality is, get this, ladies, and hold on to your hats here. Sit down. The reality is that person usually has the least to do. I own the company, okay? At the height of this company, I hosted 2 syndicated music shows. My hands are over my head right now for some reason. I don't know why. I hosted 2 syndicated music shows. I hosted our daily entertainment headline show. I hosted this podcast. I wrote a weekly newspaper column. I would live tweet shows like Survivor, Bachelor, whatever, every evening. I have written the books that our company has published. If there's anybody at this company who could say that I'm slammed and I have so much to do, it would be me. And never, ever, 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 ever in the years that I've owned this company have said that to somebody. Oh my God, I've just got so much to do. Because then I can delegate. Then I can not do so much. I can ask for help. I can hire somebody else then if I need to. Like, that's the thing. So I've always found there's always that at least one person in the workplace who just always has I just don't have time. I'm just so busy. I can get to that tomorrow. Oh no, I don't have time. Then get off your fucking phone. Get off your fucking phone. Get off your fucking phone. If you don't have time, here's how I can free up a good 35 minutes of your day. Put your fucking phone away. Focus on your fucking job. There you go. So, anyway, tell me, is that sounding familiar to anybody? Is that kind of the first day? And we're going to take a break. All right, I've got more on office politics on the Scribble right after this.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
It's never too early to start thinking about your next holiday. Have you checked out Mexico recently? From tequila tasting, swimming with horses, to ziplining through the jungle and watching whales and dolphins in their natural habitat, Puerto Vallarta has it all. Visit mexico.jbonair.com to see all the fun PV has to offer. That's at mexico.jbonair.com for hundreds of photos, interviews, and videos from around the tourist hotspot. Check out mexico.jbonair.com for all the fun. That's mexico.jbonair.com.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on The Scribble. I know we're over time, but here's the deal. It's my show, and I'm going to do whatever I want. Now, we're talking office politics today, and it's really funny because I will tell people, and yes, again, it's my company and whatever, but I will tell people, we do not have office politics here. And why? Why do we not ask me, Jeremy, why do you not have office? I'll ask. Okay. So the reason is because we're all very open with each other. And like I said, I've known these people. Bonnie Winters, our executive producer, her and her husband, Mike, just celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary. So I'm not going to tell you how old she is, but she just celebrated her 50th wedding anniversary. She's old, okay? I have known her for 17, 18 years now at this point. I have been around longer than her grandson, who is now 16 years old. My accountant, Raylene, has seen me through highs and lows in my personal life and my relationship. She was my boss years ago. For my 40th birthday this summer, she took over my property and had lawn decorations and everything. When she, like this, we just have such a small group that's very close, and we know how to get under each other's skin. I know that if Bonnie comes in and is grumpy, she knows that I'm going to be pestering the fuck out of her until she changes her attitude and is enjoyable to be around. And if they know that I'm in a pissy mood, they're going to poke at me because that they're, trying to change my mood. And so when it comes to the politics of it, and when I say that, I mean, Bonnie's like this and Bonnie doesn't like so and so, whatever. We don't have that because, again, if we didn't like you and if you were a problem, then you're not going to be here. You're going to be out. You're done at this place. And so I can genuinely, matter-of-factly, and if anybody ever, DMs these people on the down low, if you know who our staff is or whatever, and you ask them, if I put them on the spot right now on the show and say, do we have office politics here? They're going to go and say, no, because you're the boss. But no, that's not. They will tell you, and I can't get anybody on the line right now, but Bonnie's Well, Bonnie's agreeing with me, because now this is the deal, is that we are such a close group that not only when we worked together at a publishing company all those years ago, that we would have lunch together almost literally every day. We would either go out somewhere, or we would all be in each other's offices sitting and talking and being together. We would talk and communicate on the weekends. And these people, I genuinely do text with them day and night, whether we're working or not, weekends, birthdays, holidays, whatever it is, because we're genuinely friends. And we're all such different people. Like I said, Bonnie's in, close to her 70s. I'm the young happening gay guy, right? We've got Suzanne, who's very, she was an executive assistant for years. So she's kind of got that very structured sort of, we've all got our strengths. We've all got our personalities. Tim Chisholm, who started my syndicated radio show all those years ago in Vancouver, he is the creative guy, that he knows that, okay, well, I'm not great at this, but I know, hey, we can do this tweak to a sound effect that we have, or we can do this kind of a music, or we can do this. Again, Raylene, our accountant, she's the numbers person, so, that's her expertise. I'm trying to think of and then Darcy, one of our segment researchers. Anyway, bottom line is, we all text each other. We all get along. We will go out to Bonnie's place at the lake on the weekend, or we'll, with Raylene, when she was my boss at a publishing company, we all went to a strip club one night and watched female strippers, and we're like, why I'm the gay guy. She's like, I don't know. And then I went to a gay bar with her one night, and then I called her son, and I was like, your mom's gonna hit on my lesbians at the gay bar. Like, because it just, we're that kind of work environment where we're not uptight, we're not pissy, we don't hate each other. We genuinely, spend time with each other when we don't have to. And so that, to me, is the kind of workplace that I want. And years ago, I had said, I'm going to retire when I'm 40. I am now 40. And I kind of have pulled back a little bit because, I signed off from one of the radio shows back in the day, and, a year and a bit ago. And I'm okay with that. I wanted to work less. And I'm good. So theoretically, I could retire right now if I wanted to. I could never work again, and I'm fine for the rest of my life. And that's my casual way of saying, I have money, I'm good. But I enjoy these people, and that's something where it's kind of like, well, what can we do now? Like, what can we come up with another project? Can we do another show? Can we, do another book? What should we do? And we have such a great time together. So back to that point of, is there office politics, whatever? No, there really isn't. We don't have, because again, all things will come through me. So if you're talking shit about me, well, then you're either a really good actor and you've been fooling us for 10, 12 years or whatever it is, or, I just have my head up my ass and I don't recognize these things, right? When you spend as much time as we do and as we have over the years, they know Darcy is the best at reading me. He's not here, but Darcy's the best at reading me. When I give like one-word answers, or he knows I'm in a mood, and I'm not doing that just to sort of have him go, oh, hey boss, what's wrong? Because I don't play that game either. But people just know. I know in the way Bonnie answers me. I know in the way that Suzanne says something, that if she's, pissed off about it, we just know each other. And that's the most comfortable work environment that you could ever ask for. And I'm so fortunate that we have it. So when I flip back to any of those other workplaces where you've got that corporate structure and here come the suits and here's whoever, that's just never worked for me. Then I'm going to have to wear dress pants to sit at a desk and write. That's my job as a writer. Why do I have to wear dress pants? I'm not, nobody's seeing me. I'm at the back of this building. Nobody's going to come and pay attention to me. But for some reason, that's the policy, so I've got to wear dress pants to write. And same thing with a graphic designer. It's like, if that's how you're comfortable and that's how you hit your stride, is being in, whether it's sweats, whatever it is, have at her then. Why am I going to make you dress uncomfortable? Because that's going to hinder your work and the quality of your work. You're not going to be comfortable. You're going to be resentful. You're going to be, uptight. You're going to be whatever. So fine, wear what you want to wear. No, I'm not saying come in a, a G-string or something like that, right? There are limits to it. But I mean, yeah, if you want to walk around the office in bunny slippers and that's comfortable for you, go for it. I don't fucking care. I don't like whatever. And so that's how we are at this place. And again, like I said, we're just very fortunate that we have a group that's just clicked. And so back to that first day on the job, you're going to have those people who are nice to your face. These people who are very nice. But you know what they're going to be watching for, she came in late on Wednesday. Interesting. Hey, you guys... Yeah, the new girl was 5 minutes late. Okay. Oh, she left 3 minutes early as well. That's interesting. new girl leaving. I'm going to make note of that. She's all of a sudden new and she's going to come in and, oh, okay. We don't even know. I don't even have that luxury of being able to leave early. Well, that's interesting. Why does the new girl get to do that? And you can go and say, that's not how it works. Oh, no, that's not our office. There is. You're going to have the person who's been there for 10 years who feels like they've got that seniority that they're going to watch over the new person and go, oh, he's only been here an hour and he's already Googling shit. Oh, he's already on his phone. Oh, he's already on Facebook. Oh, new girl was 5 minutes late on her third day. Yeah, did you see? Did you see what time she came in? Did you see all that? Did you see it? Yeah. Oh, okay. Or they might not even necessarily say it to other people, but they're filing it away. They're watching. They're looking. They know. They're knowing. And that's just, again, the reality of office politics. And so for me, I'm just kind of like, whatever. I razz Bonnie when she's late, but at the end of the day, we don't have start times. We don't go and say, oh, well, Bonnie, it's 9:02. We start at 9 o'clock. Oh, because I fucking roll in at 10:30, 11 o'clock some mornings. Like, that's just the way things go. And at the end of the day, we know that we've got a show to put on. We know that, such and such has to happen today. If we miss the deadline and you fuck up, you're going to pay for it. And that's the way it is. You've let the team down. You let down our advertisers, whatever it might be. The station that we have an obligation to do, you fucked up. So you know what? I'm not going to suspend you. I'm not going to write you up. We don't have shit like that in our office. We're not. But you just know, you know what? I'm not going to fuck up. That's, my bad if I did and I screwed up. Okay, I apologize. Here's the deal. But no, I've never had to go and say, you're suspended for 3 days. You think about what you did. You're suspended. Get out of here. Go home. I'm fortunate like that. And so that's the kind of place that I like. I've said that a few times already. But yeah, so you're going to have that office politics and your new job on the first day. And they're also, maybe on that first day, they're going to let you go home early too, right? That happens quite a bit. They're going to let you take off. There's really not anything for you to do today. So might just take off early. And then you kind of do that whole, oh, are you sure? Really? Like, that's okay? Yeah. And they're like, yeah, they're telling you. Like, why wouldn't you just bolt? Because you want to seem like you're the dedicated employee already, right? Maybe they're testing you. Maybe they're testing you, everybody. Maybe that's the scheme. Maybe you go and say, no, you know what? I'm being paid till 4:30, 5 o'clock. I'll stick around. Yeah, no, I'll find something to do. They're testing you, everybody. They're testing your loyalty. I'm putting doubt in your head now on your first day at work. But yeah, no, I'm saying all this in jest. I'm just saying it in fun. But that's what I've experienced. Everything that I've kind of just outlined, you're gonna show up early the first day. You're gonna be overdressed. You're going to casually work that down. You're going to dress down a little bit as each day passes. That first casual Friday, you're going to be casual. And then come next Monday, you're going to be dressing like the rest of them. You're not wearing the fancy schmancy stuff. You just wanted to make that good first impression. But that's what I've always said, is that I'm going to dress like I did in the interview in my zip-up hoodie, and that's that. That you're going to get me that on day 1. You're going to get that on day 5. You're going to get me on day 100 dressed the exact same way. I'm not making any false impressions here. That's who I am. That's what you're getting. And then, yeah, you're going to have that whole thing about sitting there pretending to be interested in the person who you're shadowing. They're going to pretend to be really into their job, but then 2 days later you're going to hear them bitching at their cubicle about, being overworked and whatever and underpaid and unappreciated. I've always had the luxury, though, when I've worked at corporate offices, I've always been the one to go and say, hey, I'm being overpaid for what I'm doing here. And I've made no bones about saying that to people. I truly have said that when I was a corporate copywriter for different, major companies, because they didn't have their shit together and they didn't understand writing. So they would think that it takes me so much time to write this or do that. I was milking it. Absolutely. And I might have done that whole line of like, I've got just a shit ton of stuff to edit, like I really don't have. There was one place, let me tell you, that I wrote 2 books. I wrote 2 of my books on their dime. Because people didn't have stuff for me to do, they just didn't understand writing. It didn't necessarily need to be a full-time job, but hey, you're going to pay me full-time, and you're going to pay me how much? I'll take that. I'll take that fucking check. I'm still getting the work done. I'm doing what you've, outlined for me to do. So if it doesn't take 40 hours, that's not on me as the employee. That's on you. That's on you who created this job, this role. You thought that it takes 40. An experienced writer doesn't need 40 hours a week to do it. But if that's what you've had as student interns or somebody fresh out of school, well, they're going to need a lot more time than me as a seasoned writer. So anyway, I would love to hear about your first day on the job. If you started a job recently after the pandemic, or even just you had a nightmare first job, maybe your first job out of college, whatever it was, send me an email, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. And if you relate to basically like every single step of that first day that I've outlined, tell me like that you're right on, because I want to bond with you about that, because I've always just sort of, the whole office politics thing just fascinates me. Live at jbonair.com. We're out of time. All right, join me again next time on The Scribble. Same time, same place next week. Bye-bye for now.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some real heat, give your mouth the